Hey, do you ever feel like you don't have what it takes or you're insecure about stepping into ministry or into God's call that He has for your life? Well, this past Sunday, we heard a story from David and Nicole where they talk about this very thing. Watch this.
So my name is David Merchant. This is my wonderful wife, Nicole Merchant. We've been at Grace Fellowship for a total of 8 years now.
What brought us to Grace Fellowship was the desire to do church in our community.
Every Sunday, I make a point to get there so we can worship as much as possible with more songs. And every time when it ends, I'm like, is it over? I'm always left wanting more. I'm almost convicted if we miss a Sunday. Just feeling involved and cared for and loved, even when we just don't show up, it makes me really feel like I'm part of a larger family.
A defining moment for me personally at Grace Fellowship, I became involved with the youth, and I just was really struggling with the lies that I was hearing, that I was too meek to participate. You'll never connect with these youth. And I finally had this moment where I just came to the end of myself. And I realized that David was not too extra and I was not too meek, and that we were purposely made and created for the ministries that we are involved in. I believe that Make Room for Grace is going to allow us to reach more people for Christ. We are very limited in what we can do and provide at the North Campus because of the space. And it has literally broken our hearts watching families walk away.
I mean, we're bursting at the seams. There's no room, and there's such an enormous need for more people to be reached out to right here in our backyard. And I think the location of the North Campus is prime for that. So this property comes up. I can't believe how much this property matches the artist's renderings from before the search even began. Boom, God drops it right in our lap. Yep, here's a property that's exactly what you wanted. And it's crazy how it fit perfectly within the vision and the renderings, the location we're looking for, and then right in the price range that we wanted as well.
As I'm looking into Make Room for Grace, as a youth volunteer specifically, these generations are just so lonely and so hungry. There is a desperate need. We obviously are so connected in a technology-driven society, but my prayer for these spaces is that the face-to-face connections, if loneliness is something that is so abundant around us, the technology is not cutting it. And so my prayer for these spaces is that we will continue to invite people in as Jesus was the great inviter, and inviting people into these spaces and letting them feel tangible representations of Christ.
I wouldn't even stop at youth. I'd say Katy at large has a enormous number of people that are hungry to be connected to to another group of people, and they're hungry for connection to Jesus. And I see that in my neighborhood. I see that in my friends.
I think our process of determining what we're going to give has been influenced by our 2 years of unemployment and how that stripped away every perspective, every comfortable area of our life. And it's grievous to look back on that now and realize what we missed out on, and realize that it's so much more than about paneling our own homes and building our own individual kingdoms. And instead asking, what ways are we sacrificing? What ways are we living a life that is contrary to the culture? And that part of that is just giving in areas that look different than what the world gives in.
What's more important than the kingdom of God? And nothing. That is the ultimate, most important thing. That's why we're here. And that's why Make Room for Grace needs to happen now.